Hi, welcome to Made to Heal with Angela Brown. So, there are different ways that we can release past emotions and heal from past traumas. I will get into a couple of those, maybe three, as we look into different ways that we can do this. But I'm going to remind everybody about my 12-week online course for ages 18 on up. It's for those that are stuck, or maybe you deal with a lot of depression or anxiety, or you have you just feel stuck and not knowing which way to move. Anyway, I was in a bad spot for 30 plus years. I dealt with suicidal thoughts and depression for 30 plus years, and I was stuck and I wasn't able to move forward, and until I hit rock bottom. I hit rock bottom and I surrendered. I surrendered everything to God and Christ, and I just said, look, I need help and I need a way to find out how to do this. And they showed me. I was introduced to classes, I was introduced to books, people. When you're willing to put in the work, when God shows you tools and different things and you're willing to put in the work, it's amazing what miracles can take place in your life. So I'm going to put the link in the comments below for anyone interested in my 12-week online course of healing, helping you in your journey, healing spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically. So what are some things that can help heal some of those past traumatic emotions that come up? Well, I'm going to talk about breathing, breath work. I had done breath work about 6 months ago, 5 or 6 months ago, and I had never experienced anything like it. I had never done it. It was called somatic breathing. And that was the first experience. And they, go into detail of what you're going to experience, and you go through this process. And they say some people react differently. They might shout, or they might, cry, or they might laugh. Different emotions might come up. And they said, whatever comes up, go with it. Just be okay with what comes of it. And I remember I did it with headphones because I had my family all around in other rooms, right? Living their lives. And I happened to do it on the bench. I have 2 benches at my kitchen table. And so one of the benches I just happened to lay on. And because you want to lay down when you're doing breath work and just get in a comfortable position. Anyway, I remember as I was doing this breath work, I sobbed, I cried like a baby, and I was able to heal and get clarity in a part of my life that I was needing an answer to. And it was amazing. That was an amazing experience. And then I had an opportunity last night to go to a class of breath work, and it was healing as well. And then they also had, so if you are not familiar with breath work, that's all I gotta say is just look into it. I'm sure they've got plenty of things out there on YouTube, but it's where you just do certain forms of breathing, and you do it for so long, and then you hold your breath, it's just learning how to expand your lungs. And me being a foot zone practitioner, I have noticed so many people are, when I hit a certain point, it's pretty tender for them on the bottom of their foot. And it's because of, and I call it the stress button. They're like, oh, that's a little tender. And I said, yeah, it is 9 out of 10 times on people. I call this the stress button when it's really the solar plexus area. So we have a lot of stress that we're dealing with, whether it's our own stress or we're worried about others outside of us and the stress of the outside world. Then we carry a lot of stresses. And most people have a hard time being able to process stress. And so then it shows up on the foot when I'm foot zoning. And so it's important to have ways that we can de-stress. And usually when as I'm foot zoning and that's a tender spot, I say, look, listen, we eat 3 times a day. Most of us eat 3 meals a day, and we make sure we're fed, but most of us are not getting enough oxygen to our brains. We're not breathing properly. And so in order to do that, take the time. It's so important to take the time each day. If we're eating 3 times a day, we need to breathe 3 times a day. Take a few times to just really, take in that deep breath and then let it out. Like, fill up our lungs with oxygen and let it out. It is so, so important. And as I go to sleep at night, I try to, just because I know I'm not getting enough oxygen to my brain, so I just have to consciously think of how to get more oxygen to my brain. And usually when I'm taking a nap or falling asleep at night, I will make sure I have mindful about my breathing and just take several minutes to breathe correctly. So, and it helps. It really helps in the stress department on releasing those stresses. So what is the, what else can we do to relieve stress? So breath work is important. Breath work is important to help relieve stress. Another thing is write and burns. And that was another thing that I was able to do was, they had this big old bonfire and, just write things that you were intentionally wanting to release as you were doing the breath work, and just write it on paper and then just throw it in the fire. That's healing. I've never done a write and burn. I've talked about write and burns, but I also talk about write and shred, and I have access to a shredder daily. So I've done write and shreds, but I had never done a write and burn. So that was a fun thing to do. Just whatever negativity that's coming out that you just want to get rid of in your life, you just write it down, and then you burn it. And it is so healing. It's just like, boom, gone. Wrote it, it's down, and I'm burning it up, and that's no longer me. It doesn't serve me. And so that is very healing on a way to get rid of emotions. So that was just something that I did last night. That is something that is a great reminder to get rid of the stresses in our life. And then just taking the time to meditate. Meditate is about breath work too. I'm not fluid in meditation. What I mean by fluid in meditation is I'm just in the baby stages of doing meditation. I know the importance of it. In fact, prayer, if you're a Christian, I know a lot of Christians get a little leery, like, oh, meditation, that's not a practicing thing for Christians, but Christ meditated. Christ was an awesome meditator. And so prayer is a form of meditation. And so, yes, I utilize prayer, and I also utilize time out for me to do breath work through meditation. And since I'm in the baby stages of meditation, I love guided meditation. So guided meditation is great for me. And maybe I'll get past that point to where I don't feel like I need guided. But for now, I love just listening to someone's soothing voice, telling me how to breathe and to just let things go. And I've been listening to one. Go ahead and look it up. It's called Triple Flame. I believe it's Triple Flame, and it's a meditation app. But I've been really loving this meditation app. You can choose the 3, 5, and 10. I haven't done the 5. I've done the 3 and the 10, and the 3-minute guided is great if you have just a little time. But the 10 goes more into depth, and it talks about softening the heart. Softening the heart. And I just think, isn't that what we as Christians are trying to do? We're trying to soften our heart. We're trying to have a better understanding and a better perspective, and just the softening of the heart, paying attention to that heart, having love towards our heart, and just, imagine all those rough edges of the heart being smoothed out. And he goes into detail on that, and it really helps me, and I love it. So just meditation is great. Those 3 things is just breathing, write and burns or write and shred, whatever you have access to, and meditation. They will help you on your journey of healing and getting rid of unwanted emotions, traumas, whatever it is. That's just a very vague, what I'm talking about is just very vague. When you take my 12-week online course, I get into it deeper with different things. So, anyway, God bless. Until next time, just know that there's ways to deal with those stressors that come to us on a daily. We are just living in a fast-paced world, and there are ways to handle our stresses that come our way, and we can have that complete control of what we do with those stresses. We don't have to let that run our life and affect us inwardly. We don't have to become this big ball of energy, negative energy that we don't know what to do with. There are tools out there to just release naturally so that we can enjoy life and have happiness. So, God bless. Please share my channel. I am to the point where I'm here to share my message with the world, but I want to do it organically. I've had so many people reach out. You're not reaching your people. You're not you need to do this and this and this. I am not high tech savvy. I'm not. And more than anything, when I do my videos, I get probably the most out of it because I'm a continual work in progress. I'm not doing everything perfect. I am learning right along with you. But I have been on my healing journey for 9+ years and I have not had depression. I have not had a suicidal thought for going on 9 years, and it has been a miracle. It's been miraculous. And I am just, I do these videos in hopes to just reach one. And I know I'm reaching more than one, but in hopes that it just reaches one beside myself. But even me, I'm getting it. It helps me. And so I just hope it just helps the one. But I would love for my message to reach more people, and I want it to happen organically. So please share if you got anything out of this and you come across somebody that's struggling with depression or struggling with anger or struggling with whatever it is, trials in their life, and they don't know how to handle or whatever or get through. I hear you. I've been there. I've been on both sides, but you can have joy and choose happiness amongst this crazy world we live in. But you know what? This world is a beautiful world. There's truly so much good things that this world has to offer. And if you turn on the news and watch it, which I haven't for several years, it's been blissful. But if you happen to be the one that turns on the news and watches it every night, you're just going to have nothing but turmoil inside and then depressed and just you're going to think we live in this bleak world when we don't. We live in such a beautiful world and we get to change the world starting with ourselves. And that's what my healing journey has done. It started with myself, and it is when you are working on healing yourself spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically, you're helping others around you as well, not only just in your household, but your community, and then it reaches out into the world. So God bless, share your light. We all have the light of Christ in us. And a lot of times, I tell this to every client I work on, you are doing so much better than you think you are. So keep going. We're our own worst critic. We're hardest on ourselves. We got this going on and this, like that tends to be in fluctuation and not together. And our heart and mind is amazing, and we can get clarity and connection when we're willing to bring the two together and inviting God and Christ in our journey. So please like and subscribe, and until next time, you guys, God bless, and thanks for watching. Bye.